Yo, what's going on, everybody? CTM Sports about to go live. Let me do my back end stuff real quick. But today, I want to talk about some stuff beyond. I want to talk about some stuff beyond the wins and losses. Um, the aspects of the game that people don't may not see, things that I see, and just want to talk about those things. Pretty much, like the coaching, being a leader, leadership, trying to lead people even in the tough times because that's not easy to do. And pretty much just everything outside the lines on the field that things people don't really see. So, watched the game last night, and of course, they didn't um, win the game. But the thing I want to talk about is outside the lines is when a team starts off hot and then they start to taper off towards the end. It's like a couple of things. Either they're not on the same page or they're not responding, or maybe the talent just wasn't there for the whole season to really pull you through the whole season. Because sometimes that kind of what it boils down to is not everybody has the willpower to finish strong or the race strong. And you might not have all the talent, but you still got to lead these people. And when you're building a team, whether it's NFL, college, high school, anything, you may not start off, even though you may win a couple games, you don't have the level of consistency in the players and talent to dominate, to go have like a 2 or 3 loss season. I don't think people realize to have a 2 or 3 loss season in the West is wins. It take a lot of consistency, it take a lot of leadership, and you got to have some players that buy into exactly what leadership is saying, coaches and offensive coaches of that nature. And you think about the offensive coordinator, he was demoted, but when you really look at the performance of the offense, um, can you really blame the decision for him to be demoted because he wasn't performing up to par? I mean, if he when they was winning, he didn't get demoted, but it's how you lose sometimes that says a lot. And when you look at how they was losing, I mean, I know people was saying little side stuff and stuff like that, but the thing I like about Dion as far as the leadership is he don't respond to the outside noise. He don't really address it. He may say some stuff on his social media, but he don't address the outside noise because people be hating a lot of little side talk. They trying to conspire against his son. I don't know. I think it's just bad. Offensive line just not playing well. You know, and when you have that many players that's new and that many players from the transfer portal, it's gonna catch up with you eventually because they haven't really had a whole year or a whole off season to really have the actual game plan down, even through adversity. And that's the thing with leadership. Come adversity hit, how do your players respond? And I think they're trying to respond, but I just think that they don't have the everybody's not on that talent level to really overcome the adversity that they're facing. So when I look at the what's the name game, right? Kansas City and Miami game, Kansas City is the more established team, and the Dolphins is the up and coming team. Now they didn't let Kansas City blow them out, but they stayed in. They was down. They only lost by a touchdown, but you can tell the more established team versus the more the new and up and coming team. Because when you look at the game, Had similar games, but it really came down to really defense. Um, like I said, KC scored first, second quarter. Miami had a big third quarter, but nobody scored in the fourth quarter though. I mean, no field goals or nothing. It was nothing. So imagine that sometimes it be the little things that make a difference. Like I say, Tua had 193 yards passing. Patrick Mahomes had 185 passing. Neither one of them had interceptions. But it's all about the leadership and the discipline. You think about Andy Reid versus McDaniels, their coach for the Dolphins. Andy Reid has probably been in so many of these games. He knows how to put together um, um, a string of plays to win these games, and that's what Prime is gonna. He's trying to build with his coaches right now to get to this point. Like Andy Reid has been in the league for years. A lot of the assistants he had has been with him for years. So to be able to win these kind of games, it comes with the coaching experience. It's not just the players; it's the play calling in order to not be so stale. It's the players on your defense to be able to understand different nuances of the game when it's kind of those rough parts in the game. But when you have those players that can understand, they can play within the play but still make plays, that's when the game started to change. And that's what Colorado is lacking. They don't have they got good players, but they don't have those like when you watch the University of Miami play back in the day when it was like Sean Taylor and all those guys, you can call a play, but they're gonna make a play within the play that you call, and you don't have to sit there and think about they're gonna make a play. I mean, those are kind of guys like that. It's like a big hit that caused a fumble, and their defense is been playing great, way better. But there's still a couple of things that I think they're gonna have to recruit on. I think like they're gonna have to get a middle linebacker and like um a, some bigger guys on the D line, like D tackle or something like that, take up their space for those linebackers to get in those gaps. Because when you're running up against teams that's been having an offensive line there for at least 2 or 3 years, and they got a rotation coming in, your D line has to be like dominant, And just like with O line, they have to have a 2 or 3 year supply of O linemen with rotation in order to really dominate, college football. You got to have a good O line and D line. If you don't, you see the result. That's what's going to happen. When you look at USC, you look at even Oregon State, you know, their offensive linemen compared to Colorado's offensive linemen is something totally different. It's two different things. So you just have to be able to see what's going on. But another thing is NFL. This is the time where you can tell the real from the fake. Everybody's tired. Everybody's sore. Some people getting the shots, numb them up. Everybody's aching. But this is the time of the season, right before the playoffs start, to tell who's the real from the fake. You're starting to see the contenders and the pretenders right now. So, and that's what I'm saying. I think the Dolphins are good, but I'm wondering, are they really good for the playoffs, or are they just good for a regular season? But time will tell. So another game I think I hear people was talking about a lot was the Cowboys game. Let's look at their box score real quick. The thing about the Cowboys that's interesting is I don't know if it's the coaching or is it the players. I'm not sure. I don't know what it is about Dak. I don't know if he don't work on stuff in the offseason or he just not wired to be that kind of player. But he really had a good game against the Eagles. I don't know what. It's like the defense with the Eagles though has changed the game because when you look at it, Dallas scored in 3 quarters, but they couldn't. They're not built for a shootout though. And looking at the box score, the Philadelphia had 14 points in the third quarter. That's a lot of points for one quarter. So that either means that the offense wasn't on the field enough, or the defense was tired. They couldn't stop them from scoring because the Eagles will grind you down. But the Eagles won 28-23. Dak and Jalen had pretty similar games. I think Dak had a little bit more yards than he did. He had 3 TDs. Jalen Hurts had 2 TDs. And then they had 2 rushing TDs from Hurts and Gainwell. And I bet you in the third quarter, that's probably what they did. They probably was running the ball, grinding on them a little bit. But the Eagles are for real, guys. They probably gonna be in the NFC Championship game again. They're pretty good. Shout out to them for keeping that team together. And a lot of times when you win a Super Bowl, that's another thing outside the lines. People think he's just a player. The GM and the ownership has to keep putting in players around the playmakers. Because with the salary cap, you only can afford to have at best maybe 3 or 4 playmakers, and the rest are kind of like players to fill around them. Before they become playmakers, then they have to leave because you can't afford them. So shout out around around Jalen Hurts. So and shout out to the Eagles for winning the game. So when you think about sports, though, the leadership part of it is how do you get players to respond to your leadership? How do you get players to respond when you're not winning? How do you get how do you respond to players that don't really want to play because you're not winning? Because there are players that play their best when everything's going well, and there are players that's gonna play their best regardless of what's going on. They're gonna be themselves. They're gonna still make the big hits. They're gonna still try to go for the pick, or their running back still gonna run the ball. But when you get the whole team on board, you know, the whole game changes. But the leadership aspect is hard because you have to deal with uh, over 22 personalities on a team, right? You know, offense, defense, special teams. You got to deal with all those personalities. You have to be able to recognize when somebody uh, try to catch them before they go. Their mind goes in that place where they kind of get in the dumps a little bit. You got to be able to pull them out of there, and you still got to be able to have them to perform at the same time. And then it's even tougher when you have sons on the team. So they're gonna say, "Are you gonna be partial to your sons?" And then, or are you gonna be tough on them like you tough on us? It's a lot of little things you gotta play. It's like a chess game. You gotta play with people. It's weird, but it's just how it works with leadership. But I'm still rolling with Coach Prime, win, lose, or draw. I'm still rolling because I know he building. Give him about another year and a half, 2 years, and then everybody, all these haters and stuff, it won't hear. But when you're losing, they're gonna always make storylines out of it. They're gonna always find a little side talk, even in life. When you're winning, they're gonna find something to startle you about, find something to hate on you on. But the key about leadership is you can avoid or tune out the side talk and keep moving forward. When you can learn how to tune out the side talk, you can go to the next level, the different levels in your life when you tune out the side talk. Because there will always be side talk. People get paid off side talk. But when you don't give it legs, you don't put oxygen to the fire, it end up fizzing out. They try to find the next thing to come with. But the best thing to do is not give fire oxygen for it to grow and blaze, grow out of control. Just don't respond to it. Sometimes that sounds easy to people say that sounds easy, but when you try it and you do it, you realize it gets easier and easier. You just don't respond to it because you know the whole story. They don't know; they just speculating. But when you know the whole story, there's no need to respond to because I love hearing people talk when they don't know the whole story because it lets you know what they know. But you just got to be quiet enough, not try to prove yourself all the time. Let the results prove themselves. And I think eventually, Coach Prime results will prove themselves. I think that once he get their recruiting class in, a good full recruiting class in, you're gonna start to see results and change and stuff like that. I just think he don't have all the puzzle pieces. He's working with limited puzzle pieces, trying to put this puzzle together. But I think they know. I think they even playing for it that this probably wasn't gonna be the best year. This was probably the best that they could do what they have. But I think after this season, though, you're gonna start seeing a different team. But like I said, I'm rolling with Coach Prime. Win, lose, or draw. Tell me in the comments who you think about the NFL so far. Who you think gonna go? 'Cause I think the Chiefs, man, they starting to get that momentum again. I think they starting to come through. I think the Eagles may be back. Cause I think the Bills. I don't know about Josh Allen. Man, I think he kind of phased out. Man, I think he not. I think he was better when he was the underdog and nobody was watching him. But I think when they turned the spotlight on him, I think that kind of added pressure. And then they lost some key people too. That changed the game. But right now, the Bengals are up 14-7. And it seemed like, I mean, they 5-3, so I mean that's a pretty good record. But it seemed like they should be like maybe 7-1, 6-2, or something like that. I don't know. It seems like they haven't reached their full potential yet. They're still trying to figure it out. But shout out to them. And who else was a couple games I kind of was kind of notable games in the NFL. I want to say what happened to why are the Titans trying to trade the running back? I don't get it. Derrick Henry. I don't know why they're trying to trade this guy, but if I was the Ravens, I would have tried to get Derrick Henry, but I know they probably wanted too much for him. But boy, if they could have got Derrick Henry paired up with Lamar Jackson, are you kidding me? How good they would have been? Can you imagine running an option with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson? Who you gonna pick to try to hit? Can you imagine them just running that thing? Because they got a good run offensive line with Derrick Henry running through those gaps, trying to tackle him one on one. Probably not gonna happen. You probably gonna have to bring that safety in the box in order to stop that, and he still may not be successful because he's gonna wear down the defense. But he's still with Tennessee Titans. I don't think they trade him before the deadline, but it would have been nice. But I think they're in rebuild mode. That's why they're trying to trade him. I think when Tannehill went out, they just said, you know what, time to rebuild. But I never really liked Tannehill. I thought he was okay. I never thought he was like that kind of quarterback, but you know. So let me know in the comments who you think will win the Super Bowl this year. I think the Chiefs have a great chance to repeat. I thought the Dolphins would give them a challenge, but I'm starting to rethink that now. I think Dolphins still got maybe another year to go. I still think the Dolphins got to shore up their defense. I think they once they get maybe another safety, linebacker, and corner. I like Ramsey, but the other side of the field though kind of get ate up a lot. And once they get that kind of figured out, I think they'll be really good contender. But so far, Tua staying healthy. I mean, when you got a running back that's they got like a track team, receivers and running back. When you got that kind of speed on the field, it's easier to kind of keep your guys healthy because they can't blitz a lot. Because if you blitz, somebody gonna be open, so they gotta play almost man up, two safety deep to match up their speed. So it kind of You only can rush 4 men, pretty much. And when you only can rush four, it's easier to keep your quarterback upright. But when they rushing 5 and 6 because they don't respect your offense, your quarterback gonna get hit every time, especially in the NFL. So also, Bobby Knight just passed. Let me know in the comments what you think about Bobby Knight. Was he a good coach? Was he kind of quirky, quirky coach, or that's the kind of coaching style that it was back in that time because he coached Isaiah Thomas and they won championships. A lot of guys played for him, but a lot of guys couldn't play for him. Toward the tail end of him and being at Indiana, it was a lot of little, weird little cases popping up. Him, being abusive to players and stuff like that. But in the 80s, 70s and 80s, that kind of stuff, was tolerated. So, but he won a ton of games when he played for Indiana, Texas Tech. Definitely a mixed review bag when you talk about Bobby Knight. But let me know in the comments. You think Bobby Knight was a good coach? Also, thank you for watching the Thinking Game podcast. Thank you for subscribing to our channel as I get ready and sign out. Thank you for watching our channel. Let me see if I can go to it real quick. I think we are at how many subscribers we're at now? If I'm not mistaken, we're at 154 subscribers now. Thanks to all those who subscribed. Thanks to everybody. Go to our YouTube page and subscribe. CTM TV. That's the name of it. We live right now. Go to our Instagram page. I don't know why I keep doing it. I don't even think TikTok will pull up. Go to our TikTok page. Is that let me sign in there? Go to our TikTok page, CTM TV LR, where we post clips of the podcast and some of the sports. I'm trying to get better at this, guys. I'm doing a lot of it by myself, editing and stuff like that. So it gets tough sometimes with time and school and stuff like that. But day by day, I'm getting better at it. So, but please help us reach 1K. That's our goal, is to get to 1K. And that's our goal, is to do that. So, but as I get ready and sign out, I want to say thanks for all who subscribe. Thanks for all who support. As we grow, we get more consistent. I want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for those who watch after. Let me know in the comments anything you'd like to hear me talk about, either on the Thinking Game podcast you'd like to hear me and Jay talk about, or on the sports podcast, anything you'd like to hear us talk about. Thanks for watching. Continue to tune in. My name's Mike, and I am signing out.